So we've decided to go for a walk from our place down there at Uzupis up to the grave of Napoleon's Grand Armée. What have we read about it? We've read...
in 1812, when Napoleon was retreating from the Russians, he came through Vilnius, and the army was decimated, and they lost so many men because it was the middle of winter and they're all suffering. And he stopped here for a while in Vilnius. I think he continued on his own, and a lot of the army stayed here. A lot of them died here, and they were interred in the grave here. So might be interesting to see for all the history buffs out there.
So it's about a 3.5k walk?
Yeah, it's a bit of a walk, but we're going to go via the British Embassy just to have a look at what the suburbs are like and just see another side of the city. Good excuse to go and check it out.
Up a hill, which means we're now going down the hill.
Yeah.
Thanks, darling.
It's great, isn't it? Roller coaster of life. I like the mix that they've got going on here with these little old ones, and then some Soviet style ones and some modern ones.
Yes, but look at those incredibly deep, what would you call them? Dormer windows at the top?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wasted space.
Yes. And then an apartment block by it. There's all the back streets of Uzupis. Oh wow, and here's a different style again. That looks more like Edwardian. We are down here now by St. Peter and Paul. There's a Polish tour group. You can tell they're Polish because it's a bus has Polish plates, and also Lee heard some Polish words, so there you go. But so we're going to have a look at the British Embassy, which is just over the road. Don't know if you can see very well, but it's a rather limp looking Union Jack. Flag's not flying very well at the moment. It actually looks deserted. Anyway, we'll come back here. So we're going to walk from there and up into Antakalnis. And I'm not too sure where the cemetery is. Pope John Paul II. Picture of him here at the Our Lady of the Gate of Dawn. And here's the church. It looks as though it's having some restoration work done on the entrance, so I'm not too sure if we can go in or not. Embassy of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Right beside a roundabout, which is a bit unfortunate. Beautiful old building with the British Council to the right of it. Not too sure what this magnificent old building once was, but they've got it fenced off now. And hopefully one day they'll restore it. Once again, a wooden totem. We've noticed there's been quite a few around in Vilnius. We've just come up from that road there. Walked up past some of the lovely large houses. And here's the cemetery.
Trying to decipher the sign. Our Lithuanian isn't that good, but we just realised I think Pirmadienis to Penktadienis is a Monday to Friday, first day to fifth day, is 8 till 4, so it's 3:20 now.
Yeah,
we didn't realise it was going to be closing so early. We've got 40 minutes to have a good look around. It looks like it's a huge place and quite interesting, so we better get going.
And this is a section for the Lithuanians killed by the Soviets in 1991.
This is the memorial for the soldiers who died in the Napoleonic Wars coming back from Moscow in 1812. A lot of them died in Vilnius. They found 2,000 bodies quite recently, and I think they've been buried here, but it's interesting, it's in French. And yeah, fascinating part of history. If you've ever read War and Peace, this is where it all happened.
And so here we have the Soviet memorial. 1941 to 1945. So these are the partisan troops, a lot of whom stayed in Lithuania after the Nazis invaded. The Russian troops, etc., stayed to fight the Nazis. But as you can see here on the left, some of the names are written in Lithuanian, Partizanas, and others are written in Russian and Cyrillic script. The eternal flame is no more. An enormous cemetery.
Foreboding, isn't it? I wonder when the storm's going to come.
It's forecast to rain at 4 p.m, so let's just see how accurate it is. As it's now 3:55.
It's chucking out time as well.
These are some of the most original and lovely gravestones, grave sites I've ever seen. So this must be from an author. It's beautiful. And this is so lovely. The cemetery provides watering cans for people maintaining the graves. The Polish graves on this side. And here we have simple wooden crosses with no names on them, but the colours of the Lithuanian flag. Bodies that must have been discovered. Very interesting cemetery to visit. Absolutely no markings outside to indicate what it is. So this is the beautiful park that we walked past on our way up to the cemetery, and we've decided now to walk back this way. I wonder if this was like an old hospital or something, because the buildings look very similar. Same style, quite an impressive statue in the grounds, and Lee's had a look at some of the names on the buildings, and he thinks potentially they could be like tech startups. IME, planner, dev to dev. Yep, definitely looking as though it's some sort of, I don't know, tech startup place.
The Vilnius Tech Park, the Code Academy, Smug Mug.
And again, one of the things I love about Vilnius, like the libraries around. This is, you know, Central Library of Vilnius City Municipality. Free books that you can take and then go and lie in a hammock under the tree and enjoy. So cultured, absolutely brilliant. And you walk out of the park through these rather impressive gates. Outside the British Embassy, interesting flag. And Lee's just pointed out the colour of the flowers. So we've walked over the bridge and now we're going to head down and walk along the river, heading towards Gediminas Castle in the old town and to the Palace of Culture and Sport. This area looks quite new and modern over here. Trolleybus. And it's so lovely. We've come over the bridge and walked down the path and seen this very interesting looking ornament. So it looks as though this path is very new. It ends just there. But if you come around this way, heading into the city.
All nice and new and shiny.
Brilliant.
Little walkway.
The workmen are busy putting in steps, well, you know, foundations or whatever for stairs. It's going to be lovely when it's finished because it really is such a pretty river. So we've just come up from the river and we've discovered that this is the old Jewish cemetery of Vilnius. It must be the gravestones there in the front. Just behind them is the Palace of Culture and Sport. Heartbreaking. So these are stones from what was known as the Jerusalem of the North. I mean, this is true Soviet architecture. Looking pretty much worse for the wear now. Gediminas Castle. And on the side, a Soviet palace. Diving boards for what must have been the swimming complex. I was going to say this is a sign that it's Gopnik territory, but if so, they've spelt it wrong. A lot of plywood covering up broken windows and the tagging that goes along with that.
Isn't it a thing of beauty?
It turns out this is built in 1971.
So, same year as me. We're from the same vintage. We're both weathering a little bit on the same course.
I think it's quite amazing really. There's some modern buildings there But there's just all of the space coming around. Up and around there. And you've got your graffiti, tagging. And the shell of this building, mighty building, nothing's being done with it. And this is the car park at the back of the Palace of Culture and Sport. See how large it is. There's Lee walking towards me this way, but incredible building. And in complete contrast, look at the buildings behind the palace. Modern, new. Turns out we've been saying it incorrectly. It's actually Vilnius Palace of Concerts and Sport. Built in 1971 and closed in 2004 because it was deemed unsafe. Just a marvellous example of Brutalist architecture.
I'm a big fan of Soviet Brutalist architecture, and this is a classic.
A new build, the Energy and Technology Museum, I think. A lovely old building with a statue. And now we're walking down to cross back over the river. Through the main square, statue of Gediminas. Walked past this a few times, thought it finally time to stop and look at it. This is what it will look like in the second part of the 16th century, with the cathedral being number 1. Up there. Cathedral.
Grand Palace of the Dukes.
Gediminas.
Gediminas Tower there.
Comes around and wow. 16th century Vilnius.